A lot of Australians move to Europe convinced they're upgrading their lives. And for a while, it does feel that way. Europe is brilliant. It's got history, culture, architecture that's older than our entire nation. And you can catch a train to another country for less than a meat pie at the footy. But here's the thing. Just because a place looks amazing on Instagram doesn't mean you'll want to live there permanently. So today, we're looking at 5 European countries where Aussies actually move in large numbers, pack up their lives, sell their Hilux, say goodbye to the local servo, and head overseas, only to realize they might have made a massive mistake. Starting at number 5, we've got Spain. Now, this might surprise you because Spain seems like the perfect destination for sun-loving Australians. Beaches, Mediterranean climate, affordable living compared to Australia, amazing food, and a lifestyle that seems pretty laid back. What could possibly go wrong? Well, quite a bit actually. Spain has become increasingly popular with Australian digital nomads and retirees. But the reality of living there long-term is very different from your 2-week holiday in Barcelona. First up, the bureaucracy. Spanish bureaucracy makes Centrelink look efficient, and that's saying something. Getting your residency sorted, registering with the local town hall, opening a bank account, everything requires mountains of paperwork, multiple trips to different offices, and often you'll need documents that can only be obtained from Australia, which then need to be officially translated, apostilled, and authenticated. It's an absolute nightmare. Then there's the employment situation. Unless you're a digital nomad working for an Australian or international company, finding decent work in Spain is tough. The unemployment rate is high, especially for young people. If you don't speak fluent Spanish, your options are limited to teaching English, working in tourism or hospitality, none of which pay particularly well. But the real culture shock for Aussies? The daily schedule. Everything shuts down from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. for siesta. Shops close, businesses close. And if you need to grab something from the chemist at 3 p.m., you're out of luck. Dinner doesn't start until 9 or 10 p.m. Nightlife doesn't kick off until midnight. For Aussies used to having dinner at 6:30 and being in bed by 10, this is a massive adjustment. And while the mañana attitude seems charming at first, everything is tomorrow, tomorrow, it gets frustrating when you're trying to get your internet connected, your residence card sorted, or literally anything that requires someone to do their job in a timely manner. Number 4. Netherlands. Amsterdam especially has become hugely popular with young Australians over the past decade. It's got great English proficiency, a thriving startup scene, beautiful canals, a bike culture, and it's right in the heart of Europe. Sounds perfect, right? Not quite. The Netherlands has some serious issues that Aussies discover pretty quickly after moving there. The biggest one? The housing crisis. Amsterdam's rental market is absolutely cooked. We're talking Sydney and Melbourne levels of bad, maybe worse. There's a massive shortage of housing, and what is available is either tiny, expensive, or both. A 1-bedroom flat in Amsterdam will cost you 1,500 to 2,000 euros a month, and it'll probably be 35 square meters. That's smaller than most Australian living rooms, and the competition is insane. You'll show up to a viewing with 50 other people, all desperate to rent this overpriced shoebox. Landlords can basically name their terms, and you either accept them or you're homeless. Many require you to earn 3 to 4 times the monthly rent as proof of income. Good luck if you're just starting a new job. But here's what really gets Aussies: the weather. Yes, it's not as cold as Scandinavia, but it's gray and miserable for most of the year. It rains constantly, not heavy rain, just this persistent drizzle that never stops. From November to March, you barely see the sun. The wind off the North Sea cuts right through you. You'll be cycling to work in the dark, in the rain, freezing your bits off, and wondering why you ever left Australia. Speaking of cycling, the bike culture is brilliant in theory but brutal in practice. You're expected to cycle everywhere, in all weather, year-round. In winter, you're cycling through sleet and snow. Bike theft is rampant. You'll get your bike stolen at least once, probably multiple times. And if you don't cycle, you're seen as weird. Public transport is good, but not cheap. Then there's the Dutch directness. The Dutch are famous for being blunt and saying exactly what they think. While Aussies also value honesty, Dutch directness is on another level. There's no sugarcoating, no polite preamble. Your colleague will tell you your presentation was terrible, your haircut is awful, and you've gained weight, all before morning tea. For Aussies used to a bit of banter and friendliness, it can feel harsh and personal. And here's something that drives Aussies mental: the bureaucracy. You need a BSN number, citizen service number to do anything. Open a bank account, get healthcare, register for work. Getting your BSN requires registering at the municipality, which requires proof of address, which requires a rental contract, which requires a bank account. See the circular nightmare? Number 3. Ireland. This one's particularly popular with younger Aussies because of the working holiday visa scheme. Around 10,000 Aussies live in Ireland, mostly in Dublin, and it's easy to see why people are drawn there. English-speaking, friendly locals, beautiful countryside, great craic, and you're in the EU with easy access to the rest of Europe. But Ireland has become a cautionary tale for Aussies looking to make the move, and it all comes down to one word: housing. Dublin's housing crisis is absolutely catastrophic. It's not just bad, it's genuinely one of the worst rental markets in the world. The city has a severe shortage of housing, and what's available is both expensive and terrible quality. We're talking about a market where you'll pay €1,800 a month for a one-bedroom flat with mold, no ventilation, dodgy heating, and a landlord who won't fix anything. But it gets worse. Because there aren't enough rentals, you'll be competing with hundreds of other people for every single property. Viewings are cattle calls. Literally hundreds of people showing up to look at one flat. Landlords can pick whoever they want, and they often choose people willing to pay 6 months' rent upfront or offer above the asking price. Then there's the weather. Ireland is wet, properly wet. It rains about 150 days a year in Dublin, and it's not heavy rain. It's this constant, miserable drizzle that soaks you through. It's gray and overcast most of the time. The wind is relentless. You can't plan outdoor activities because it's always damp. Your clothes never fully dry. Everything smells vaguely of mildew. And while it's not as cold as other parts of Europe, Irish houses are often poorly insulated and damp. You'll be freezing inside your own home, running expensive electric heaters because the heating system is not updated and still being cold. Mold is a massive problem. You'll see it growing in corners, on walls, in bathrooms. Landlords don't care because they know you have no other options. Number 2. Germany. This is the second biggest destination for Aussies in Europe after the UK, with about 26,000 Australians living there. Germany's got a lot going for it. Strong economy, excellent public services, great public transport, central location in Europe, and cities like Berlin have a thriving arts and tech scene. But Germany also has some serious challenges that send Aussies packing. First up, the language barrier. Yes, many Germans speak English, especially in cities and especially younger people. But German society operates in German. All official documents are in German. Your rental contract? German. Your employment contract? German. Your health insurance documents? German. Letters from the government? German. If you don't speak German, you're constantly lost. You need to hire translators for important documents, you're at a disadvantage at work, and you're excluded from social situations. Learning German is essential, but it's a difficult language. The grammar is brutal. 4 cases, 3 genders, verb conjugations that'll make your head spin. Aussies who move to Germany thinking they can get by with English quickly realize they're wrong. Then there's the bureaucracy. German bureaucracy is legendary, and not in a good way. Everything requires forms, mountains of forms. Want to register your address when you move? You need an Anmeldung. Want to open a bank account? You need proof of address. Want to get health insurance? You need a bank account. Everything is circular and requires documents you don't have. And it's all in German. Government offices don't cater to English speakers. You'll show up with your forms, not understand what's being asked, and be sent away to get more documents. It can take months to get simple things sorted. And God forbid you make a mistake on a form, you'll be starting from scratch. Hierarchy is rigid. You don't question your boss or speak up in meetings unless invited to do so. The flat, informal Aussie workplace culture where everyone's on a first-name basis and you can have a casual chat with the CEO? Forget it. German workplaces are structured and formal, and stepping out of line is frowned upon. Making friends is difficult. Germans are polite but reserved. They keep their private lives very separate from work life. Invitations to social events are rare, and breaking into established friend groups is nearly impossible. You can work with Germans for years and never be invited to their homes. It's isolating, especially if you don't speak German fluently. And here's something that drives Aussies mad. Everything is closed on Sundays. Shops, supermarkets, everything. It's the law. Sunday is a rest day. You can't even do laundry on Sundays in some buildings because of noise ordinances. The strictness around rules and regulations can feel suffocating. Number 1. United Kingdom. This is the big one. Around 165,000 Australians live in the UK, with the vast majority in London. It's by far the most popular European destination for Aussies, which makes sense. Common language, cultural similarities, loads of job opportunities, and you can travel easily around Europe. But it's also the country that sends the most Aussies home disappointed, frustrated, and sometimes broke. Let's start with the weather, because this is the number one complaint. The UK is gray, relentlessly, soul-destroyingly gray. From October to March, you might see proper sunshine a handful of times. The sky is a constant blanket of gray cloud. It's not even particularly cold compared to other parts of Europe. It's just miserable, damp, drizzly, and dark. You wake up, it's dark. You go to work, it's gray. You finish work, it's dark again. By January, you're wondering if the sun even exists anymore. Seasonal affective disorder is rampant. Aussies are solar-powered. They need sunshine and blue skies. Take that away for 6 months and we start falling apart mentally. Then there's London's cost of living. It's eye-wateringly expensive. A pint at a pub costs £7 to £8, which is 14 to 16 Australian dollars. A basic lunch will set you back £10 to £15. A coffee is £4. And don't even get me started on rent. London rent is absolutely mental. A one-bedroom flat in Zone 2 or 3 will cost you £1,800 to £2,500 a month. That's £3,500 to £4,800 Australian dollars. For a tiny flat. If you want to live in Zone 1 or anywhere central, you're looking at £3,000 plus. But the biggest issue is this. You're paying London prices while earning London wages, which sounds fair until you realize you're barely saving anything. After rent, transport, food, and bills, you're left with almost nothing. You're living paycheck to paycheck in one of the most expensive cities in the world, barely seeing the sun, cold and damp for half the year, and wondering why you left Australia. And the quality of housing is shocking. British houses and flats are old, like properly old. We're talking Victorian or Edwardian buildings that have been converted into flats. The windows don't seal properly, so cold air pours in. The heating systems are ancient and inefficient. There's often mold in the bathrooms. The plumbing makes strange noises. Landlords call this character and charge you a fortune for it. Single glazed windows are still common. Carpet in bathrooms is a thing. The shower pressure is very selfish. And good luck if something breaks. British landlords are notorious for taking forever to fix anything, if they fix it at all. Many Aussies move to London for the experience, to travel Europe, to work in a global city, to have an adventure. And that's fine for a year or two, but long-term, it grinds you down. Now, I want to be clear. Plenty of Australians move to these countries and love them. Some stay for decades, build lives there, and never look back. This video isn't saying these countries are terrible. They're not. They've all got amazing things about them. But the reality of living somewhere long-term is very different from visiting on holiday. The weather, the cost of living, the social integration challenges, the bureaucracy, these things wear you down over time. And for sun-loving, laid-back Aussies who are used to space, good weather, and a certain quality of life, these countries can be a shock to the system. If you're thinking about making the move, do your research. Visit in winter, not summer. Talk to Aussie expats who live there. Understand what you're getting into financially, and be realistic about whether you can handle gray skies, expensive rent, and being far from family and friends for years. What do you think? Have you lived in any of these countries? Did you love it or hate it? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss future content. Thanks for watching.